Episode 1, Where the Old Ways Met the Mountains. Up in these mountains, magic didn't come from just one place. It was braided together. Cherokee medicine, Scotch-Irish superstition, German brokery, African root work, and old-time mountain Christianity. And what grew from that mix became something folks whispered about for generations, and still do, Appalachian witchcraft. Long before Europeans arrived, the Cherokee and other indigenous nations practiced sophisticated herbal medicine and spiritual healing using native plants, smoke cleansing, water rituals, and ceremony. Cherokee and Choctaw knowledge formed the earliest layers of Appalachian folk magic. Settlers learned which plants healed wounds, which teas broke fevers, how to use smoke, water, and song in healing, how to read the land, the weather, and the spirit in the woods. This indigenous foundation shaped everything that came after. When Scotch-Irish settlers arrived in the 1700s, they carried centuries of old world folk belief, charms, omens, and protections against spirits. Their traditions blended easily with Cherokee knowledge because both cultures believed the world was alive with signs. From the Scotch-Irish came haint beliefs, which is restless spirits for those who don't know what a haint is, second sight, witch marks, and protective symbols, weather signs, folk cures using iron, salt, and fire. These settlers also brought the idea that magic could be both helpful and dangerous, depending on who used it. In the isolated hollers, Christianity didn't erase folk magic, it absorbed it. Appalachian families used psalms for healing, Bible verses for spoken over wounds and burns, red thread and scripture for protection, and the Bible left open on Psalms 91 or 23. This blend of faith and folk practice is well documented in Appalachian folk healing traditions. To outsiders, it looked contradictory. To mountain families, it was simply what worked. German immigrants brought bokery, also known as powwow magic, a Christian folk healing system using charms, spoken prayers, and ritual gestures. This tradition blended seamlessly into Appalachian healing culture. Brokery included healing prayers, protective signs, ritual hand motions, charm books, and written spells. Many granny women used bokery techniques without knowing the name. They just called it the old ways. African American communities in Appalachia carried root work, conjure, and hoodoo, which deeply influenced the mountain folk magic. These practices emphasized roots and curios, spirit work, protection charms, and ancestor veneration. Scholars note that Appalachian folk magic includes Appalachian American conjure traditions alongside European and indigenous practices. Even though Appalachian witchcraft was primarily practiced by white mountain families, African root work shaped the region's magical vocabulary, especially in plant use and protective charms. By the 1800s, all these traditions had fused into what people now call granny magic, mountain witchcraft, root work, or folk healing. Appalachian witchcraft was herbalism, which included salves, teas, and poultices, charms, which would be iron, thread, salt, and Bible verses, signs and omens, birds, dreams, and weather, and I don't know about you, but most of my family plant by the signs, spirit lore, which is haints, ghosts, and shapeshifters, Christian prayer woven into magic. This blend, widely documented as a mix of Scotch-Irish, English, German, Native American, and African traditions, and it was always seen as double-edged, helpful when used by a trusted healer, dangerous when used by someone with a grudge. Mountain people respected it and feared it. Appalachian witchcraft lived inside the stories people told, haints that followed families, witches who could turn into animals, lights in the woods that warned of death, dreams that foretold storms or sickness, birds, dogs, and owls as messengers. These tales weren't just entertainment, They were warnings, teachings, and survival tools. Folklorists note that Appalachian culture is rich with omens, spirit signs, and supernatural encounters. So when folks talk about Appalachian witchcraft, they're talking about a tradition older than the ridgelines themselves, a blend of Cherokee medicine, European superstition, African root work, and mountain Christianity, a magic that healed, protected, and sometimes made the hair on the back of your neck stand up.